Now that we've gotten a full week of games under our belt, we have enough to digest what we've watched and translate our observations into some noteworthy content, and one of the biggest head-turners of the season is actually a feel-good story about a player who was previously having a rough start to his career. For years now, Bol Bol has been a player who fans of the game have been enamored with, because not only does he come from an NBA family, being the son of the late great Manute Bol, but he was also making a name for himself as a legitimate talent as he was coming through the ranks. There was a time where he was ranked on the same tier as Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett in his recruiting class, but obviously his NBA career has not quite gone as well as theirs has so far. What leads us to today's video, though, is the fact that for the first time in his entire NBA career, we're seeing Bol Bol emerge on a team giving him a real chance to prove himself, and he has been making the absolute most of the opportunity. In this video, we'll discuss why Bol Bol's journey has been as rocky as it has been to this point, what makes him such an intriguing player talent-wise, and what we should expect from him moving forward. Before we start though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. As I said in the intro, when Bol Bol was on the rise, he was seen as much more than just a gimmick, and he was being recruited alongside the ranks of some legitimate star talent. He was the number 4 overall prospect ranked in ESPN's class of 2018, behind the trio of Duke commits in Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, and Cam Reddish. As a player who stands at 7'2", that has a tendency to put the ball on the floor and create offense for himself off the dribble, he was being labeled by some scouts at the time as a taller version of Kevin Durant. Obviously, if that's the kind of praise you're getting as a high school prospect, then you're going to find yourself on the path to success, and by the time he finished high school, he was a McDonald's All-American with offers from almost every top-tier collegiate program. Instead of committing to one of the traditional powerhouses of college, though, he chose to play at the University of Oregon, and pretty much immediately his presence on that team was felt in a big way. In the first 9 games of his freshman season there, he was putting up video game numbers averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game, while shooting the ball incredibly well, making 56% of his shots from the field, and a whopping 52% of his threes, while attempting 3 of them per game. That kind of volume and efficiency from a 7'2" player had him locked into a spot in the draft lottery in most mock drafts at the time, but then unfortunately the worst possible thing that could have happened at the time occurred when he suffered a stress fracture in his foot that ended his season and naturally his college career. His plan from the beginning was to be a one-and-done player, but after being viewed as a lock to be in the lottery when he was healthy, his draft stock took a massive dip, and the added question marks surrounding his health hurt him. For a player as tall and as skinny as he is, whether it's fair or not, there will always be concerns about his durability at the NBA level. The NBA is a physical game, and if you don't have the strength to hold up over an 82-game season, like we see from a bunch of skinnier prospects, then NBA scouts are going to be hesitant to spend a valuable first-round pick on you. On top of that, again, whether this is fair or not, Bol Bol's scouting report did include some cautious information about how he wasn't exactly the hardest worker at the time, and his effort does get questioned on the court regarding him not necessarily giving his all every game either. As a result of all of this, he fell all the way down to the 44th pick in the second round of the 2019 draft, originally drafted by the Miami Heat before his rights were traded to the Denver Nuggets, where he would begin his career, and from there, things only got more turbulent for him. He was likely going to end up missing his entire rookie season because of the rehabilitation process for his foot, but because that was the year where COVID shut things down until the fall, he was able to return in that time and play in the bubble, and in those games, he actually flashed some pretty intriguing potential. He was knocking down shots both inside and out, he was creating off the dribble, exposing mismatches, and he was blocking shots, causing havoc for opponents trying to score with him in the vicinity. And the Nuggets were even experimenting with his role in this time, running him at power forward in some lineups alongside Nikola Jokic, and even at times trying him at small forward, creating a triple towers lineup, which was incredibly ambitious. After that, though, the ambitious experimentation with Bol's unique skill set strangely enough ended, because in his next 2 seasons combined, he only played in 46 total games, a vast majority of which were cameo appearances at the end of blowouts during garbage time, and it became clear that he was never going to be given a real shot in Denver. His frustrations also clearly were mounting at this point, as rumors swirled about him wanting out, and he was even liking tweets on Twitter talking about how he needs to be freed and given a real chance elsewhere. Ultimately, the Nuggets just weren't a good fit for him because they're a team trying to win now with the MVP of the league looking to accomplish something significant, and developing Bol was never one of their biggest priorities. The team did eventually oblige to his wishes when they tried to trade him to the Detroit Pistons last season, but right when things started to look back up for him again, Bol failed his fitness exam with the team, and the trade became void as a result. Shortly after, he went and got surgery on his foot from this, which, if you remember from the beginning of the video, is an issue that has plagued him since college, and if I'm being honest, at that point it was looking bleak for Bol moving forward. He was entering free agency this past summer, once again injured, unlikely to find his footing in the league, but then the Magic honestly came in and saved his career. Just a day later from the surgery, Bol was actually included in a trade to the Boston Celtics in a 3-team deal, but then a few weeks later after that, before he could even play for the Celtics, the Magic made a trade with them, acquiring Bol Bol, and for once, they actually brought him in intending to keep him around. Bol's foot was still healing, so he couldn't play a game with the Magic last year, and thus went into free agency still unhealthy, but the Magic made it clear that they wanted to re-sign him and keep him around, and that had to have been a pretty good feeling for Bol Bol. After nearly becoming a complete afterthought in the league, who was never given a real chance, the Magic made it known to him that they wanted him, so he gladly signed that contract offer, and this brings us to why this video is even being made in the first place. For the first time in Bol Bol's career, he is playing real minutes in an NBA rotation coming off of the bench. He's playing more minutes than he's ever played consistently, and through 4 games this season, he's actually turning a lot of heads. Now, am I saying that he's about to get back onto his path to stardom? No, unfortunately, those dreams are likely long gone. But from what he is showing early on this season, he is proving that he definitely deserves a place in the NBA. His most recent game against the New York Knicks is one that happened to open a lot of eyes, because that game he scored 19 points in 20 minutes of play on the court, he shot the ball 8 of 10 from the field and 1 of 2 from 3, and he blocked 4 shots, which he has now done in back-to-back games. His length and craftiness with the ball naturally creates mismatches, and the fact that you have to respect his jumper makes him an even tougher guard. He probably doesn't have it in him to be a full-time starting caliber player because he is still somewhat slow-footed and injury-prone, but as someone who can bring impact off of the bench, he is proving his worth. The Magic were a team filled with young guard talent, and with some spots open in their front court rotation, they were the perfect team to take a flyer on him because of his low risk and his potentially high reward skill set, and early on, that chance is paying off in their favor. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about Bol Bol's career moving forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.